You don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. And no, I don't wanna be alone.
Hey there YouTube, this is Sunday for Sunday Reviews, and today I'm going to do a review for Bleach, Netflix original movie based on the anime. Okay, I've not seen the anime series, so I don't know what would be missing in a movie, but it's always hard to put a lot of things that are in a series into a movie without just making another series. So you pretty much have to pick and choose. I thought it was really well done, unlike Avatar, The Last Airbender, where I actually saw that series, but you didn't really need to see that to see how bad a movie the M. Night Shyamalan picture was. I mean, there were so many bad things in that one. What I was surprised about was the CGI and how well it was done, and a lot of it was during the day scenes. And day scenes are always harder for CGI to make it look good. It's not like perfectly realistic, but it was very well done. And there's some things that they could have used straight out from Avatar, The Last Airbender, the Nickelodeon series, that would have looked really good with that same CGI. Well, the first thing I did was I started watching it, and all of a sudden I started hearing the American dub, and I was like, ooh, that's the one failing on this. I couldn't even make it a couple minutes in, and I had to switch it back to the original Japanese with subtitles. Once I did that, then it started sounding a lot better and looking a lot better. The dub sounded just really awkward. So this is a story about Ichigo. He's a little kid, and he can see ghosts. So the opening scene is with him and his mom walking in the rain. I assume they're headed home or something, when he sees this little girl just sitting by the end of like a pier next to water. I said, "Oh, look, she didn't have an umbrella. Oh, I can loan her mine." And then we get a lot of flashbacks to the scene. Something happens, but they don't really show it. It's they use a typical like a jump scare, and it was like, I don't know if I would have went with that. But then later on, we get to see him grown up, and he's going to high school. And I'm happy it didn't turn out to be like one of those just, what are those called? The ones where they're just like awkward teen boyfriend movies. So later on, Ichigo goes home, and apparently his mom has died, and he's just going to chill out after having an argument with family. And some random chick shows up at his room, and he's like, "What the hell are you doing here?" And she's like, "Oh, you can see me, blah, blah, blah." So she turns out to be what's called a soul reaper. And whenever somebody dies, and they basically are like bad people, they create these things called hollows. And soul reapers have to kill the hollows, and then they have these other ones that are just normal people that die, and they don't kill those ones. They basically guide them into the afterlife. So it's kind of like another version of the Grim Reaper. They call it a Soul Reaper. So it ends up this Hollow is trying to get to Ichigo, and he teams up with the Soul Reaper uh, inadvertently, and then she's trying to fight this Hollow, but she ends up getting injured, and then she has to pass her powers on to Ichigo. And then Ichigo ends up defeating the Soul Reaper. First thing I know is like, oh my goodness, how did your sword just become this ginormous thing? And like not even a minute after that, she was like, oh, your weapon's so big because you have such high spiritual pressure. I don't know if that's a mistranslation or if that's actually part of the lore of this universe. But it was kind of interesting to see that, and then she's like disappears, and then shows up in this classroom. She's like, "We need to talk," and she's like, "I need my powers back, but I can't get my powers back until you've taken out some of these other hollow creatures." And she's trying to convince him to take up some training and do that. So this turns out to be one of the typical martial arts themes of the reluctant student. Eventually, he breaks down. They do the training. They do a montage, and then they go on from there. They end up coming across some other characters. One's called Quincy. Apparently, they ran into Soul Reapers before. Something to do with their honor, and they like, we got to prove we're like even better than they are. And dude has a interesting ability. Makes this bow out of this little, I guess you could call them charms, and he can shoot these like energy arrows. That was kind of cool. And then they run into, I think her name is Reiko, her brother, and he's kind of a dick. And he's like, just kill the dude and take your powers back. Just all you gotta do is kill him. And she's like, no, I don't want to kill him, because they made this bond. And eventually, they're trying to catch this really huge hollow and kill it. And that's going to be the climax of the film. Overall, I thought the acting was well done. It's not really suspenseful. It's more, I would say, dramatic and actiony, and like an action drama. I definitely enjoyed watching the film, but I only had one question at the very end, but I don't want to throw that spoiler out there if you haven't seen it. I would definitely say if you haven't seen it, go ahead and watch the film. Even if you watch the series, you might pick up on things that I have no clue about. But now I want to go watch the series to see what I might have missed. I would give this an overall 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a B plus. Definitely on my recommend to watch list. And if you like the movie or you didn't like the movie, I'd like to hear your comments on what parts you did or didn't like in the comments there. If you want to see more movie reviews, go ahead and click click that like and subscribe button. And I'll take any feedback, good or bad, so I know if there's anything I need to change. And with that, I'm going to see y'all in the next review.